Logic was added, reasoning, and premises to make arguments the best. But suddenly, something worse happened. Fallacies fell in it and ruined our life. But then came the critical thinkers.
Friends, I am Sanya Qureshi. I am a student of Ahmedabad University. Right now, I am pursuing my BBA final year. As part of my critical thinking and argumentation project, I will be sharing things related to fallacies. So, firstly, let me tell you what is a fallacy. Fallacy comes from the Latin fallacia for deceit. It technically means a flaw in an argument that makes it deceptive or misleading. There are many types of fallacies which we encounter in our day-to-day lives. Some of them are appeal to ignorance, ad hominem, straw man, bandwagon, naturalistic, red herring, for cherry picking, false dilemma, begging the question, appeal to tradition, appeal to emotions, shifting the burden of proof, appeal to authority, appeal to emotions, slippery slope, correlation proves causation, anecdotal evidence, equivocation, non sequitur, ecological fallacy, fallacy. These are all terms the average citizen is not familiar with, but when explained, will realize this is what we are exposed to every day from the media, from our politicians, and unfortunately, even our peers. I will explain appeal to emotion or argumentum ad passions fallacy. It is a logical fallacy, which means manipulation of the recipient's emotions in order to win over an argument, especially in the absence of factual evidence. This kind of appeal to emotion is a type of red herring and encompasses several logical fallacies, including appeal to consequences, appeal to fear, appeal to flattery, appeal to pity, appeal to ridicule, appeal to spite, and wishful thinking. Appeal to emotion are intended to draw inward feelings from the acquirer of the information, and in turn, the acquirer of the information is intended to be convinced that the statements that were presented in the fallacious argument are true solely on the basis that the statements may induce emotional stimulation such as fear, pity, joy, etc. Though these emotions may be provoked by an appeal to emotion fallacy, effectively winning the argument, substantial proof of the argument is not offered, and the argument's premises remain invalid. Emotions have the power to influence judgment. Emotion is a good catalyst for action, and action is important. Being emotional about something is good as long as it's the proper emotion to the proper degree for the proper reasons. Appealing to emotion is only fallacious when the person making the appeal is trying to do so in the place of logic or evidence. If you ask me to describe what makes such an appeal to emotion fallacious in one statement, I would say emotion cannot take the place of evidence. There are many emotions. Some are positive and some are negative. Positive emotions may include pride, relief, happiness, joy, hope, whereas negative emotions include fear and anxiety, empathy, envy, anger, sadness, guilt, etc. Emotional appeals do not rely on facts or evidence, rather, they rely on playing on emotions. People tend to blend with their emotions and stop thinking logically. In India, appeal to emotion is one of the basic force followed by each and everyone. People of India think from the heart. We all love to manipulate people according to our own emotions. We want others to think the way we think. We want others to perceive our perception only. When the person who doesn't think the way we think, we get annoyed, and that is where appeal to emotion fallacy comes into consideration. Let me share with you few examples in order to make you understand, and maybe you will be able to relate to it in your day-to-day life. Once I asked my brother to bring McDonald's burger for me, but he gave me 10 reasons for not bringing it. And all I did was emotionally blackmail him that I also bought so and so thing for you, and I'll marry some guy and move to his house in few years. So won't you do this much for me? So he had to bring that burger for me. Over here, the fallacy exists in a way that over here the fallacy exists because he bought the burger because I emotionally blackmailed him, but not because he thought logically. Another example I would like to give is whenever I step out of my house, my mother always tells me to be safe. I always get agitated because every day one and the same thing she has to tell me. But over here, again, fallacy exists because she cares for me, that's why she tells me. She has a logical reasoning, but I don't. I get agitated without any damn reason. Uh, have you seen children fearing ghosts? Like, we all know that there is no substantial proof that ghosts exist. So children fear ghosts generally. Over here, the fallacy exists in a way that they fear something which is not proved yet. Uh, have you listened to politicians giving speeches on betterment of society? Over here also our personal sympathy, emotions apply. Generally, people tend to feel anxious when they encounter breakup. Like any one of us who has encountered a breakup, we all know that we are hurt, we are angry, but that is for no reason. The actual reason is compromised. We don't know why breakup took place, or even if we know why breakup took place, we don't think it logically. I'm sure some of you have seen advertisements, jewelry advertisements flashing on TV. So when you watch it, have you seen the girls? Generally, the brother gives gifts to her sister on an auspicious day of Raksha Bandhan. Over there also fallacy exists because people are connected emotionally. Generally, brothers gives sisters gifts, but when they give them on the day of Raksha Bandhan, that becomes really touchable. We, like Indian people, I've seen generally that people prefer love stories or family movies in India. Again, over here, fallacy exists because they feel happy and joyful after watching such family movies. They feel that connect within themselves. I'm sure some of you have scored less marks in whatever standard or subjects. So over there also fallacy exists because we generally tend to blame professors that they gave us less marks, but we don't realize that it was our mistake. We did not do up to the mark, and we blame them. So over there also illogical fallacy exists. Uh, one more example I would like to give you on one more example I would like to give you on this thing. Like when I won over an argument over my brother, I was so happy. That was the most happiest moment of my life. Now, what I want to tell you is that I won the argument, but I know that certain things were not logical at all. I just gave lame reasons. Although I win over an argument because I am elder to him, and sometimes, like elderly people dominate the younger brothers or sisters. So that is how I won an argument. But I know it was illogical, completely illogical. So over there, fallacy exists. I have to be logical in my reasoning to win over an argument any which way. So that is how appeal to emotions fallacy works in our day-to-day lives. Thank you so much. If you like my video, please comment, share, and subscribe.